was burning. And you know, like, you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than, you know. But I ain't really know that you can, like, get disqualified for all that. Or, like,
Lamont Roach and GervontaDavis have officially kicked off their rematch preparations after their first face-off, where tensions ran high and verbal shots were exchanged. The pair met to finalize the details of their rematch and later attended a brief press conference, where they took turns responding to the interviewers' questions.
That's when he tried biting me. I ain't even noticed that till somebody said something. Somebody said he tried to bite me. I ain't know this.
Why not? What you talking about? They like, they ain't gonna give it to you.
Eventually, turned out to be a major risk, as GervontaDavis and Lamont Roach relentlessly exchanged verbal shots. While it didn't escalate into a physical brawl, the trash talk was intense. Lamont Roach repeatedly emphasized that he was different from the rest, warning Gervonta not to be overly confident about defeating him. On the other hand, Tank insisted that it was just a bad day at the office and vowed that in their rematch, Lamont Roach would be knocked out cold. In response, Lamont fired back, saying,
Of course, another comparison I don't want to make to Mike Tyson, but
Roach would be knocked out cold. In response, Lamont fired back, saying, "It's going to be a firefight. I'd break you down." Since the fight ended, Roach has made several appearances on the Big Time podcast to discuss the bout and reinforce his narrative that he should have been declared the winner instead of the fight ending in a majority draw. His continued remarks have helped keep the conversation about a potential rematch.
I didn't know. So after the fight had happened, we in the locker room. I think I had just finished changing up. We on the way to the post press or whatever. My father said, "You know, he tried to bite you in there." I said, "What?" I'm like, "It's no, like, if you in the ring with somebody."
And on March 18th, he posted something that seemed to irritate Tank's fan base. Likely exactly what he intended. Real stuff. Why are some of you mad? A lot of people think I won the fight. I'm confused, gang. What's going on? Did I do something to you guys? Roach wrote on X in a post that quickly gained traction, racking up over 21,500 views and 425 comments in less than 2 days. This appears to be a classic case of a fighter stirring up an opponent's fan base.
Yo, so Lamont, I watched your, your feedback. You broke it down round by round. There was this one part in this video that was kind of going viral the other day where you said it looked like Tank was trying to bite you. Yeah. I'm like,
to generate hype
like,
for
did you notice that in the moment?
Given
I
the
saw
post's
you said that
high
in your
engagement and the
your
overwhelming presence of Davis fans in the comments, it seems to have worked. Speaking on the Come and Talk to Me podcast, Roach revealed that he attempted to call Tank after the fight, reportedly in a connection to a bet the two fighters had made before the bout. "Look, man, I'm going to tell you, I called his phone. He must have changed his number or something because I didn't get a response. Maybe he's just doing his thing right now. I called him, then I DM'd him and told him, 'I called you, call me back.' I didn't necessarily bring up the money, but I just told him, 'Call me back.'"
Eric Marlinski scores it on 115 to 113 in favor of GervontaDavis. Judges Steve Weisfeld and Glenn Feldman both scored about 114 to 114, even a draw. The decision is a majority draw.
GervontaDavis managed to retain his World Boxing Association lightweight title by the slimmest of margins on Saturday night, fighting to a majority draw against Lamont Roach Jr. Despite a highly controversial moment in the 9th round that could have handed Davis the first loss of his career, the unbeaten 30-year-old southpaw, nicknamed Tank, was finally able to breathe a sigh of relief when the judges announced the final scores after a grueling 12-round battle filled with back-and-forth action. The side judge scored the fight 115-113 for Davis, while the other two had it level at 114-114, ensuring that the three-weight champion from Baltimore remained undefeated. The biggest talking point of
like, cause we right there. But when I actually went back and looked at the fight, I was like, this motherfucker really did try to bite me. Like, that's what at least that's what it looked like. You can ask him, or you can, if you play the clip and you look at it,
Harley took a knee near
like
his
he just
corner
tried
and
to
leaned
bite
over
me
the ropes, seemingly seeking
like,
assistance to clear an issue with his eye. Under the unified rules of boxing, a fighter touching the canvas with anything other than their feet is considered a knockdown, an infraction that should have cost Davis a point or even led to disqualification due to corner interference during the round. However, referee Steve Willis opted to give Davis only a stern warning, allowing him to continue, a decision that likely influenced the final outcome. The sold-out crowd of 19,250 at the Barclays Center made their frustration clear when Davis later claimed his vision had been impaired by grease from his hair. It should have been a knockdown, Roach said.
But that was crazy. So when he told me that, I was like, nah, he ain't trying to bite me. Y'all tripping. But when I looked at it, I was like, damn, they tried. And then even
trying to bite you where? Pause.
On his neck.
Like yeah, like
you seen it?
If that was a knockdown, I would have won the
I
fight.
seen it hit you with a
He's saying grease got
time.
in his eye. But if he takes a knee and the ref starts counting, it should be a knockdown. It is what it is. I'm not banking on that knockdown to win. I just thought I pulled it out. Roach, who was granted special permission to retain his WBA title at 130 lbs while taking on Davis at 135, fell just short of claiming a world championship in a second weight class. He faced an overwhelming challenge against Davis, who entered the fight as a massive 20-1 favorite. During the 9th round, GervontaDavis took a knee in the middle of the action, a moment that remains a point of controversy. I think I pulled it out in the last 3 rounds for sure, Davis said. I was catching him with some clean shots. I felt I was breaking him down as the rounds went on, but he kept coming. So
yeah, like,
oh, niggas wild.
Nah, it was crazy.
Oh, niggas.
It was crazy.
Did you see that, Naj, too? You seen that?
Yeah, I didn't see it in the moment, but when I looked at the replay, I'm like, damn, this vampire in Brooklyn right now. It's a little suspect.
I think
Roach showed no fear of a heavily favored champion. The 29-year-old from Washington, D.C., remained composed in the early rounds, using his movement and counterpunching to prevent Davis from finding his rhythm. Davis, a notoriously slow starter, spent the first few rounds probing, but his usual patience bordered on inactivity. Roach took full advantage, landing sharp right hands and winning most of the early exchanges. The familiarity between the former amateur rivals seemed to benefit Roach, who appeared more poised and comfortable even as Davis began to increase the pressure in the middle rounds. A powerful right hand in the 6th round signaled Davis's awakening, but Roach absorbed it well and held his ground. In the 7th, he stunned Davis with a straight right, forcing the champion to clinch. With growing confidence, Roach began dictating
how boxing work. I'm not like totally upset. I figured with a superstar, you won't get too much on paper.
the pace, throwing more combinations, and turning what many expected to be a one-sided fight into a hard-fought, back-and-forth 8th round. Saw Roach land a massive counter right uppercut that briefly wobbled Davis, proving he could take the champion's best shots and fire back. Then came the 9th round, the moment of controversy. After absorbing a left hand from Roach that didn't seem to land with full force, Davis unexpectedly took a knee. Whether it was due to fatigue, a misplaced mouthpiece, or something else, the moment should have been ruled a knockdown.
I heard that 114. I was just like, damn, all right, it's over with. So, yeah, man, it's just crazy.
Instead, referee Steve Willis issued only a warning, allowing Davis time to recover. Fueled by frustration, Davis came out swinging, unleashing heavy shots, but Roach absorbed them and kept pressing. Horde. By the championship rounds, Davis was lunging in, throwing wild punches that Roach expertly countered. In the 11th, Roach secured the round with a crisp counter-right, outworking a visibly frustrated Davis. With just 3 minutes left, Davis, known for his late-fight heroics, tried once more to bait Roach into making a mistake, but Roach didn't bite. He stuck to his game plan, making Davis miss while landing
in the eye. That took on a life of its own. You know what I'm saying? That was a headline in the fight. One is, what did you think when he said that initially, just like the grease in the eye? But two is like, when you was in the fight, was there any point that you saw that? Like, did you see like him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's
called
the thing.
for a rematch in the aftermath of the fight.
I
want to run it back for sure, Roach said, after landing 112 of 400 punches, 28%, compared to Davis's 103 of 279, 36.9%, according to CompuBox statistics. I'll be back on the grand stage again where I belong. Davis, however, attributed the fight's competitiveness to his own subpar performance rather than Roach's efforts. To be honest, I really made it competitive, Davis said. For sure, Lamont is a great fighter. He's got the skills, he's got punch.
But you say you don't think he willing, though.
Whatever
appears to be on the horizon following the events of their first fight, with an official announcement expected in the coming weeks. Reports suggest the bout will take place in either May or June. Meanwhile, the New York State Athletic Commission has upheld the result of the fight, which ended in a majority draw despite the controversy surrounding the 9th round. According to a ruling obtained by ESPN on Friday, Roach's protest was denied on the grounds that the bout continued for more than 3 full rounds after the referees.
I'm saying, but it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on, ref. You can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis
to the referee's decision?
Hell no.
The ruling was not deemed outcome
determinative.
determinative. One of boxing's top stars took a knee in the 9th round after a series of punches from Roach. Referee Steve Willis began a count, but stopped at 3 and did not rule it a knockdown. In its ruling, the New York State Athletic Commission stated that, after an extensive review of the 9th round footage, the most appropriate call would have been for the referee to determine that Mr. Davis's knee contacting the canvas constituted a knockdown. However, the commission emphasized that the final decision was within the referee's discretion and authority. The ruling also noted that
we was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th.
had a knockdown been called, it would be impossible to determine whether the final 3 rounds would have played out the same way. The commission's ruling stated that such speculation was misplaced, and that setting a precedent for retroactively changing fight outcomes would not serve the best interests of boxing. Had Willis ruled the sequence a knockdown, Roach would have won by decision. Instead, the WBA junior lightweight champion had to settle for a draw in his bid to become a 2-weight world champion, an upset that would have shocked the boxing world considering Davis was a massive 20,000 favorite, according to ESPN Bet. Despite their disappointment with the ruling and the commission's inaction, Roach and his team remain grateful for the support of the boxing community. Lamont and his team remain disappointed by
like knockouts, like punishment, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes things got to happen to make you get back to where you belong at, you know what I'm saying? And that was a good, skillful ass.
To a split decision win for Lamont Roach. He was robbed. The knee hitting the canvas should be a knockdown. The face getting wiped should be a DQ. They didn't use replay, apparently. And we're going to talk to Keith Eidig about all this, but there is replay in New York. And a fight that was kind of viewed as an afterthought would now be a gigantic rematch and one of the biggest upsets of the past, 10, 15 years,
and the lack of action by the commission
gigantic.
but grateful for the support of the boxing public, Roach's attorney, Gregory M. Smith, told ESPN. Lamont is confident that a rematch will end with a victory, but until then, he is the people's champion at 135 lbs. A Baltimore native explained after the fight that he took a knee because grease from a hair treatment Thursday burned my eyes. Adding to the controversy, Davis was also allowed to have his corner wipe his eyes with a towel, something prohibited during a round, as only the referee has the authority to halt the action. While Davis is often praised for his high boxing IQ.
2 days before the fight?
Yeah. I ran water over it today, but I must ain't do it enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out?
And ability to download data on his opponents in the early rounds, he appeared unable to find his rhythm against Roach. Following the fight, Roach had no shortage of supporters. His friend, and Davis's longtime rival,
skillful. Both of them want to take certain chances. Some of them take chances. You get what I'm saying? We seen. It was like we was on a boat.
Stevenson praised his performance and even expressed interest in fighting him next. While a Stevenson-Roach matchup makes sense, the fight most fans want to see is a Davis-Roach rematch, especially after Roach made many question whether Davis is truly unbeatable. A former amateur rival of Davis deserved to be the headline story after handing Tank, who entered as a 1,600 betting favorite, the first blemish of his professional career in their controversial majority draw at Barclays Center. On Monday, the commission revealed that it had requested a video replay of the 9th-round incident, but a technical issue prevented it from being reviewed within the allotted time. Despite the result, the 29-year-old